But I like the idea of a tree, especially a fruit tree, because then you can enjoy me for years to come. You know, I'm juicy.
You're gonna be a peach tree.
Yes. God, yes.
You're listening to Premeditated Opinions. Because yes, we thought about it, and then we said it anyway. I'm Pamela.
And I'm Josh, and we are just two people who somehow share a brain and decided to weaponize our brains with microphones.
Each week, we unpack the chaos from politics and religion to petty internet fights and existential dread, like it's our unpaid job.
We are not experts. We are just way too confident. So with all that being said, let's get started. So now that our children have resumed school, which thank God, because mine were slowly killing each other, which was ultimately going to kill me.
Yep.
But now that we have all this time on our hands that our kids are back in school, what are some things you're doing to consume that time?
Thinking about death.
That's perfect. What is interesting to you about death in this moment?
What is that one? Wasn't there like a movie quote that was like that? Oh, Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone else have thoughts of death?
Yeah.
Well, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was scrolling something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it was Instagram. And I came across this really clever ad, and I'm a sucker for clever ads.
Yeah,
like if your ad is like, or your product is like funny or clever or whatever, like 9 times out of 10, it will be in my house.
Yeah.
So there was one, and it said it was a journal, like a workbook, and it said, "Sorry, it's your problem now. I'm dead." And basically, it's a workbook of like your end of life planning.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah. And so I was like, you go through and you put your final wishes, your investment accounts, your bank accounts, your passwords, like all this information. So basically, so
it could be somebody else's problem once you're dead.
It's your demise.
Right.
Someone knows what to do. And so I got one for myself and my husband.
Yeah.
I haven't received them yet, but
Okay.
I'm oddly excited. Like it's a package I'm waiting for.
Right. This is the most millennial estate planning ever. Like we can't afford to pay attorneys to do it. So we're just getting Amazon workbooks. just
yes. So it's something funny enough. Josh and I have always talked about it.
Yeah.
And we've just never done it.
Sure.
And
yeah.
I'm like, I always think, well, we could die tomorrow. We could die on a flight. We could, we consume our thoughts of death. But we've never done anything. And even when I was younger and I was really sick and in and out of the hospital, every time I would go in, do you have a living will? Do you have a living will?
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
Yeah, I knocked on death's door, but no, I don't have a living will. And I still don't.
Yeah.
And we've talked about like what we want to do, but I'm still not sure that Josh would fulfill my wishes the way that I want them fulfilled. Granted, I really shouldn't care because I'm dead.
You will be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's really hard to spread ashes on Mars. Like I'm not sure that's a reasonable expectation for you to have.
He should just know.
Right. Right. I'm not sure that's a reasonable expectation. Like, but also I get it. Like I get like thinking through this stuff. So, I have gone through seasons where I've traveled a lot for work. I've traveled internationally for work, and I've traveled internationally in places that are not terribly safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
but that's not where you're going to die. You're going to die in some horrible freak accident on a random Tuesday. And you're going to be like, well, that sucked.
Right. I do want a story.
I do too.
Yeah. I would love for my demise to be just a hell of a tale. Like, he was schlepping his cameras through the Brazilian Amazon forest.
I want someone to write a podcast about my
Yes,
death.
yeah. I
About
want a
my demise.
documentary.
Yes.
Like I want a good enough death for a documentary.
Wait,
I don't
are
think
we?
That's...
Let's not manifest like a serial killer situation here or a
not
murder.
Yet anyway. Like, give me another 30 years or so.
Let me get through my kid's graduation.
Yeah, minimum. Having a grandkid would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe, but at the same time, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. No, I think it's brilliant. And honestly, so like, not to be actually a little bit morbid about it, but my dad is 66. He turned 67 in November. He's a single man now, and I actually very recently had a conversation with him where I was like, "Hey, I don't want this to happen. He's in great health. Like, I have no reason to believe there's anything going on." But I actually had a conversation with him recently where I was like, I'm not asking you for details. I'm not asking you for anything you're not ready to divulge. Would you tell me where to look for whatever I will need to find?
Yep.
Should the day come where you're not here anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And he actually responded very positively. It turned into a great conversation. And, he does have his ducks in a row, which doesn't surprise me at all. And at the same time, I've had other family members pass in the fairly recent past where they didn't have anything done. And I was like, oh man, this is a mess. I mean, it just leaves behind such a disaster. So as much as we're poking fun at it,
yeah,
it's kind of brilliant. Like and I don't know all the estate law or anything like that, but I know enough to know that most things like that will actually hold water from a legal standpoint if it's like done in a responsible way. Like you don't have to actually have, if I'm understanding this correctly, and if you're an attorney listening, please correct me. But if I'm understanding it correctly, you can basically draw up your own will as long as it meets some certain criteria. And as long as, I think you have to have it notarized and you have to sign it and all this stuff. But it's not like you have to go through an estate attorney for all of this stuff. So who knows? Maybe Amazon is saving the day. And, I think it's kind of brilliant. So,
yeah.
So do you want your ashes spread somewhere weird? Is that what you're worried about? Things not
No. Okay. Listen. I am a millennial, so of course I don't want a traditional something or other.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is pretty much like, just throw me in the pizza oven and like be done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not super there's two things. Well, actually, just one thing. If I'm going to be buried, which I don't care if you bury my ashes or whatever. Like, there is a cemetery back home that I am drawn to. Oh, that sounds weird. But it's always been a place. Every time I've driven by, I'm like, that's where I would want to be.
Sure.
But then there's also part of me that got really into the, I can't remember what it's called now. This is a great podcast because, like, I can't actually really remember anything I'm trying to talk about.
Are you talking about like the eco-friendly,
so you become a tree.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird and gross. But I don't know. It's kind of like giving back.
Yeah. No, there's some poetry in that. Like, that's a cool approach. I could absolutely buy into something like that. To be honest, I haven't given it a tremendous amount of thought as to what happens with me.
I think about all the things that aren't important, and none of the things. I don't put any weight into the things that actually are important.
Right.
So yeah, like becoming a tree.
Well, in some ways, it's like a relief. It's like, man, this will all be better when I'm a tree. Like,
Yeah,
it just won't hurt so
I've
much.
thought about. I'm even gone to the extreme of thinking like, I'm an only child. My husband's basically an only child. I wanted to have 2 kids. He was a one and done. And I was like, no, I want 2 because when she gets older and we're gone and this is her problem now.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want it to be her problem alone.
Sure.
And I'm not going to rely on the fact that she's going to have somebody,
Sure.
But I want her to have a built-in somebody.
Yeah.
So hence her brother.
Right.
And Josh would always push back on that a little bit because he's like, well, that doesn't guarantee that they're even going to like each other. And I'm like, they will. Like, I think we have to just cultivate that relationship. But I just don't want her to have to make those decisions and kind of face that, because with us being only children, that means our kids have no aunts, uncles,
Right.
cousins, like
Yeah.
nobody.
Well, and whether or not you see it this way, this kind of thing, like this kind of silly notebook, which is a bit tongue in cheek and a bit self aware, and I love all of that, but it's actually a piece of kindness. Like it's actually,
Exactly.
you are doing your left behinds a favor by saying, hey, here's a blueprint for how I would want things to go moving on. And in the day and age of investment accounts all being online, bank accounts all being online, like there's, unless someone knows exactly where to look and how to log into all the financial things that
Oh,
we are
yeah.
tied to, you're never going to find it. You're never going to find it.
This was a nightmare for my mother's parents.
Hmm.
So when my grandmother passed away, and I don't know, like a decade later, my grandfather passed away,
Mhm.
and my mom ended up being executor
Mhm.
of the estate. And like it was a multi-year
Oh, yeah.
nightmare for her,
Yeah.
because for one, she didn't know what to do
Yeah.
as executor. Like she was learning about all of these rules and laws, and having to wait for creditors to before any of this stuff could be settled.
Right.
And she same thing, like she's finding passwords and
Mhm.
like finding out about all these accounts, and had no clue where all like money was just stashed kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was not fun for her trying to piece all that together in
Yeah.
order to finally settle everything. It was several years
Yeah.
until she could finally be done.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty similar to my dad's situation when his dad, my grandpa, when he passed. It was a disaster of a situation. And my grandpa actually had some ducks in a row, but he was in his second marriage, his third marriage. In his third marriage, he had not kept his finances separate from his third wife, and they met much later in life. And she kind of took him through the ringer. But then there were parts of his estate that my dad and his twin brother were sort of co-executors for. And watching them navigate that process and have to just deal with so many fine print legalities and things like that, it really made an impression on me of like, we're really doing people a kindness when we leave them a plan.
Oh, yeah.
It really is that way. And so I like to joke with Krista that her fastest path to being a really wealthy woman would be like putting a hit out on me. Like if I die, she'd be very wealthy. Because the one thing I do have is life insurance. And I pay handsomely for it every month. But
Mhm.
I really wanted a situation where if I'm, out in the middle of some crazy country and get abducted by somebody and killed or whatever, I wanted to make sure that she was set up and the kids were set up and
Yeah.
all of that. And so I have gone that far.
Mhm.
I don't really have anything that looks like a living will yet, but I probably should. Well, I definitely should. But I do have a desire to kind of do things the right way and
Mhm.
follow things by the book and really prepare. But I don't know. I think I'm going to order one of these. So I'm going to order 2 Sorry It's Your Problem Now, I'm Dead workbooks. And maybe we can fill out ours live on the podcast. Like not give passwords, but like, yeah, so what's in your death book? Like, just try and figure out like what do we want to divulge? God, that would be really funny.
To my daughter, I give my Calvin and Hobbes
Yes.
collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't want it, I'll take it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll write you in there. It's fine.
Perfect. Yeah.
Tis fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fascinated by that actually. And Krista, God love her, like she's so brilliant at so many things, but she really does not like even considering the idea of death.
I mean, and she's not alone.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the reasons why we haven't done anything, is because it's not something you want to think about. It's not comfortable. It's a very uncomfortable topic. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And you were kind of joking earlier. Like at one point, Josh was definitely worth more to me dead than alive. But it had to be under a very certain set of circumstances in order for me to basically be a millionaire.
Yeah.
That's since changed, but the good thing is I'm worthless to him dead. Mainly because of my medical history. It is almost impossible for me to get life insurance.
Oh, I hadn't even
The
thought of
only
that.
way I can get it is through my employer.
Right.
And if I don't have an employer,
Right.
and even then it's usually like, I think the most I can get is like double my salary.
Oh, that's not much.
And
in the life insurance world. That's,
yeah, like ideally I would like to leave enough, with having kids and things to pay off, everything basically but the house.
Mhm.
And even be able to pay down that to where he can focus on taking care of them. But even then it's like,
Right.
but right now I've got nothing.
Yeah.
And I have gone through the process. I mean, I've even like given blood to try to get policies and stuff. And they just won't, they won't approve it. I'm too close to death. Apparently.
Well, I mean, of all of my friends, you are certainly one that has kind of had some of the closest calls, and but do you feel like that any of those experiences have put you in a situation where you became more comfortable thinking about those things, or does it still feel taboo? Does it still feel out of the box?
I think at this point it's just the process of it is daunting to me.
Sure,
thinking about
a
it,
lot of admin, a lot of admin around death.
Like I gotta find an attorney, and I gotta make the appointment, and I gotta talk through the things. To me, I'm just like, I don't even want to do that for anything else.
Yeah.
So so that's why I got the book. Yeah, it's kind of tongue in cheek and silly, but at least we have stuff down on paper that heaven forbid something does happen. Sure. I've got at least somewhat of a path or a map to what needs to be handled and where things are and what their essential wishes are.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, like if when I die, if y'all aren't throwing some kind of huge party with great live music and good drinks, then you don't know me at all.
Celebration of life.
Yes. Like if this isn't like everyone has to Uber home because they had a little too much, and social media feeds are flooded with selfies from my wake, like you're
selfies with the casket.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Please do that. Like dead me will think that's so funny. Like I will be on board with all of that. I think that's hysterical because it's honest. Yeah. Because it's so much more what my personality is, and like sure, be sad and grieve and do all those things. Like I'm not trying to cheapen people's experiences, but at the same time, I mean, come on. Like, I'm not interested in people sitting around and wallowing and whatever. I want great music. I want great food and drink. There better be barbecue. Like, I want there to be some sort of party in my honor, and then go about your things.
So shortly after we moved to Texas, I had an uncle that unexpectedly passed, and he was a Grateful Dead fan.
Oh, nice.
He believed in Sasquatch.
I like him already.
Yeah, and so his service, we were encouraged to wear tie-dye shirts, like Grateful Dead stuff, like because that was just who he was. That was his personality, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it definitely, was a tasteful service. But then when we got back to the funeral home, there were like all these pictures of like his like Bigfoot sightings and like all these things that he just really enjoyed. So it kind of did take a little bit of the bite out of the situation. And is, I think, absolutely what he would have appreciated. So, I'm the same way. Like, Party it up.
Yeah, and then make me a tree.
Make
Yeah, just
Make me a
party
tree.
hard, and then I want to be a tree now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like an easy answer to all my problems. It's just becoming a tree. No, I love that.
Knowing my luck, I'd get dug up by raccoons or something. I don't even know how that whole process works. I looked it up like a long time ago, and it looked really weird, but I was like,
So, I mean, my aunt who passed a couple of years ago, I'm sorry, last year. She passed last year. She wanted to be, and I'm sure there's a better term for it, but she wanted to be composted, essentially. And so she was essentially recycled.
she's just gonna rot in your backyard in your compost pile. Like,
Well, it was a little more to it than that. But like, honestly, I didn't know much about it. And obviously I still don't. But I know that she went through this whole process after she passed of being prepared to where when she was buried with organic materials that were going to naturally decompose and allow her body to decompose in a way that would actually be helpful to the earth around it. Because it turns out when we bury a bunch of like wood caskets full of plastics and things like that, we're actually destroying a lot of the land that we're buried in. And so she really wanted this to be done. And so it was funny because none of us really knew anything about it, but I think almost everyone who attended her service was kind of looking up what this process is and like how it all works and stuff. It was really interesting. But
I'm gonna tell everybody, don't Google it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just know that I'm giving back.
Right. Yes. That works. Yeah. But I like the idea of a tree, especially a fruit tree, because then you can enjoy me for years to come. You know. I'm juicy.
You're gonna be a peach tree.
Yes. God, yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think I just want to be a tree. Listen, do not make me a dogwood. I will haunt the hell out of you. I hate
That's
those
fair.
trees, but make me something, I don't know, something nice.
Yeah. Where do cottonwoods come from? You know, the little is that like a tree all by itself? Those little cottonwood fluffies that you see floating through the air during the spring. Do those come off of cottonwood trees?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I'm not an arborist.
I don't know what arborist is, but those little floaty things, I just know that I'm in for a week of hell when I start seeing those because for some reason I'm really
I
allergic
don't
to
think
those.
we have those in Kentucky.
Oh, we have them here. You'll see them in the spring. But anyway,
or
I
maybe
wasn't
we
sure that
call
was
it
a dogwood
something
tree or
else. I
something.
don't know.
Yeah. But anyhow.
No, dogwood trees smell like ass
Ah.
when they bloom in the spring, and I mean ass. Like it's a very distinct smell, and it's gross.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's so bad. And then, the pollen. It's just it's a miserable experience all the way around.
I have questions about why that needs to exist. Like, why does a tree that smells bad that produces terrible pollen
Why do
need to
wasps exist? Why do
mosquitoes.
flying ants? Why
Yes.
Yeah.
I have many questions for the maker whenever I meet whoever they are.
Probably because we're actually in hell.
Right. This is all just a simulation.
Mhm,
Yeah. And we're
mhm,
trapped in
mhm.
the bowels of hell.
Yeah.
Cool.
Particularly in Texas.
Yeah, God. Especially Texas in August. Boom.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we've both done some travel recently. And we have some more travel coming up, actually, which I'm excited about. But I was thinking, your husband just got back from a work trip, and I travel somewhat frequently. You were just in Louisville, blah blah blah. And because we live in Dallas, you mentioned Texas, made me think of this. Because we live in Dallas, we are blessed with having two airlines that hub out of the North Texas area. We have American, and we have Southwest. And I have been a Southwest fanboy for a very long time. And I think it's important to clarify, I've been a Love Field, the airport that Southwest is based out of. I'm a Love Field fanboy more than I'm a Southwest fanboy. And they're starting to make all of these changes.
If I can be a fanboy, so am I.
Yeah. They're making all these changes and all this. And I'm just wondering, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why they are. I mean, other than the fact that a ton of private equity has been pumped into that brand, which that is where all these problems are coming from. But Do you think that they're doing anything that is remotely going to be helpful to them as a brand, given all the changes they're making and stuff like that?
So
Like,
I talked about this week actually with some people. I was at a conference in Louisville and we talked about it because, and I don't know if, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. I don't know if I'm just resistant to change
hmm,
in this particular arena. It is an unknown that Southwest has struggled financially
it
for
is.
several years.
Yeah, true.
And I think some of that is because they haven't changed.
Yeah.
Or they've changed very slowly or very, they have their core offerings and their core values. And maybe that's not helping them financially.
Yeah.
So, they did bring in this private equity firm. They're now basically turning into every other airline, which is frustrating for us loyal
Yeah.
customers but here's my question. How often do you actually use your 2 free bags?
Okay, so for me, I'm going to be an outlier in the
Okay.
answer to this question because,
When you travel with your family, not for work.
well, again, like when I travel with my family, I use the free bags a lot because it just allows for a lot of flexibility. I've got a 9-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a spouse that
She likes her shoes.
She's not a light packer. Even though she's literally half my
Listen,
size, she takes up
listen.
3/4 of
You
the luggage.
need a bag for boots.
I don't disagree. I'm not pushing back against this habit. It is a reality
It
of
is.
traveling
I get
with this wonderful, fantastic human being
Yes.
who I love very much. But because you're listening to this and I love you and please come home later. But I get that we need some flexibility. And so with Southwest allowing that, we did use it mostly because it was available for us to use.
Yeah.
And so, and then from a professional standpoint, I use it all the time because I frequently am traveling with a substantial amount of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually have specialized bags that I can pack that stuff in. And
Yeah.
I have media passes and things like that allow me to check heavy bags. So I am an outlier in that we have used it. But that being said, there's plenty of situations in which I wouldn't if I didn't have it available to me.
True.
For me, the draw has always been Love Field more so than Southwest because
Mm-hmm.
DFW is such a colossal pain in the ass. I mean, there's about to be 6 terminals. There's 5 now. The 6th is under construction. For starters, that place is always under construction. Every time I'm there.
And it's really bad right now because
Yes.
of the World Cup coming here next year.
And so there's about to be 6 independent terminals. And getting in and out of those is such a disaster.
Well, and your flight can change from one terminal to the next.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then
And
you're
back, and it changes constantly.
Mhm. And
So
so at least at Love Field, when you have a gate change, it's like, oh, I have a 4-minute walk
Yeah.
to my new gate, and I'm not getting on a tram, and I'm not doing whatever. So
I do. I love Love Field as well because I have literally parked in the parking garage with 15 minutes to board and made it before my group got called.
that makes me very nervous.
But sometimes I got to drive across the city
True.
to get there, and traffic in DFW is not always kind.
No.
So, but I love it feels weird to say I love.
Yeah.
I love Love Field. It sounds
Yeah.
weird, but I do because I get in and out quickly.
Yeah.
Except for the one time, which we will get into, that it turned out to be a bigger pain and I wasn't even going anywhere. But pre-check, quick and easy.
Yes.
I can get straight on because there's only 20 gates?
Yeah. 20 gates.
Yeah, and 2 terminals.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Piece of cake. Yeah.
just a Y.
So
Louisville's like that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've flown in there. I've flown in and out of Louisville only once. But
The only problem with Louisville is that people are just slow. Like everybody in Louisville is asleep.
yeah.
So
got nothing to do.
sleepy town.
Yeah.
But
I really feel like, so to quote you, I'm not sure if it's just me hating change or if I really think that this amount of change is a bad idea. But I understand a lot of the critiques that Southwest got about open seating. I think that was a lot of what drove people away from them, because a lot of folks, especially frequent travelers, they want to know that, okay, I'm going to get on this plane and I have a guaranteed seat where I want it. I'm going to be comfortable and I don't have to worry about it. And so I understand that. But at the same time, if you have some status, or if you buy early bird or whatever, you can get on the plane with ample great seat options.
Well, my thing is, every other airline does that.
Mm.
So if that's what you want, then fly American,
Right,
or fly Delta, or fly whatever. Like,
Yeah.
to me, the appeal with Southwest was that it was different.
Yeah.
You know, you did get the 2 free bags. You do have open seating. Like, to me, it was just more family friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
being able to get on early,
Yeah.
you know, with credit cards and perks, and
Mhm.
to me, the changes didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think, as someone who specializes in change management, it was not rolled out well.
No, it wasn't.
It did not roll out with the customer in mind.
Mhm.
You know, when Southwest had that big debacle a couple years ago around the holidays, and
Oh, yeah.
like their systems went down, and
Uh-huh.
it
I
was
was
just
out in it. I was
okay.
stranded out in it.
Yeah. And when when the dust settled from that, the CEO came out with a letter of, "We're so sorry. You know, this is how we're going to fix this." Da 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 da. It helped bring a little more trust to the airline for
Yeah.
people who were definitely like loyal, like,
Mhm.
okay, like you do care, like you didn't, there were ways to prevent this and X, Y, and Z, but at least they came out and just said, "We're sorry.
Right.
We're going to do better." With this rollout, it was pretty much, it felt more like, "We're doing this and suck it up." Like, there was no, there was no love,
Mhm.
heart
Mhm.
to the announcement. And I think that did them a disservice. I think them not coming, if it were my way, I would have rolled it out in a way that helped consumers understand why these changes were being made,
Right.
and what the changes looked like, and how to anticipate them. And it came out very cold
Mm.
of, "We're doing this and you either embrace it or go somewhere else."
Mhm.
Like, it lost that culture to Southwest that
Yeah.
tells you we care.
Yeah.
It felt very much like we don't care.
Mhm.
You know, like we are, and I think that's because they had the VC firm come in
Mhm.
and basically make these changes, and they were like, "We need to turn this around financially. We don't like the way you're doing things. We're going to do them differently." It kind of felt like maybe they didn't even have a say.
Right.
I don't know. Obviously, if I'm wrong in any of this, correct me. But it felt very cold, and
Yeah.
it didn't feel like Southwest.
Yeah. Well, and for a brand that has that has actively recruited people who are friendly, people who care about the customer experience, people who are, trying to just not work for some job or some airline, but they kind of bought into the culture of it
Mhm.
all. I could see that being some real whiplash for a lot of internal people who thought they were buying into a particular culture, and now the rug of that culture is pulled out from under them. That's got to be pretty uncool. Like, I don't see. I could see a lot of people planning their exit, because at this point, if it's going to be like every other airline, then cool, I'm going to go find the paycheck of the best
Mhm.
airline that I can, and sorry,
Yeah.
and so I could see a situation where they have an exodus of a lot of really great people that will only further tank the overall image of the brand, because now it's just reinforcing this idea that we're just like everybody else.
Mhm.
And to your point, a huge part of the selling point for them was they weren't like everybody else.
Exactly.
The open seating never bothered me.
It never bothered me.
The 2 free bags I love.
Mhm. Especially like when we went to Disney,
Oh yeah,
because we
totally.
would basically, we had bags that we didn't fill up because we knew we were going to be bringing things home. So, between the four of us, we had 8 checked bags plus carry-on. So we had all kinds of stuff that we could take with us or bring back. So yeah, I hate that like we don't have that. The option's not anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so I chose Southwest regardless of if it was the cheapest option. I had brand loyalty. I had no problems with the seating, the 2 free bags.
Well, family boarding, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
earlier.
family boarding.
Yeah, after Group A.
Yeah, and you could earn points pretty quickly. And they've just revamped all of it. It didn't roll out very well.
No.
And another thing that I thought about too is if you've been to business school, Southwest is in textbooks of how they do their business.
Yeah.
I have had several classes where we have done case studies and use cases on the Southwest model, and they teach the principles and values of Southwest in business schools, or at least they used to. I don't know if they do anymore, but that was another reason why I always admired Southwest was because they did things differently. And now they've turned into they're turning into every other airline.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that like we're just losing that culture because there's no other airline has a culture like Southwest.
They don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why people feel almost personally offended by some of these changes, because it's like, well, but you were like one of the last beacons of ethical, well done business practices, and
their logo is a heart.
Way. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And there is some level of betrayal that you feel from brands like that sometimes when they take such a pivot away from things that have been a core part of their culture for so long. And I think that's really at the root of a lot of the negative responses from the public is like, well, but you guys said you were different. You've spent decades telling us how different you are and how great it is and how, you should trust us with your loyalty and your dollars and all of that. And now it just feels like, oh, okay, so that was true until there was big money involved.
Yeah.
And it just feels yucky.
Well, and if we kind of step back a little bit and look at this from like a 30,000 foot view.
Your current cruising altitude?
No pun intended. I think as millennials, we enjoy nostalgia.
Yes.
We like nostalgia. We like those things that we grew up with to not change a lot. We do have things that have kind of gone away and they've come back. To us, especially in the climate that we're in right now with everything so uncertain, it's like any little bit of joy we have, like we are clinging on to.
Absolutely.
And when that joy shifts or changes or goes in a negative direction, I feel like we kind of bristle at that because it feels like we're losing another thing.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, I completely agree. And we hold on to things pretty tightly that are sort of anchors to points of our lives that feel more simple and cleaner in this way. I think that's why there's still such a craze around Harry Potter with our generation, because a lot of us grew up basically as the same age as those characters. And so like as those books are released, the first book came out and Harry's 11 years old in that book. And I have friends who are 11 years old when the book came out. And so they literally were reading these books into their adult years and connecting with those characters. And it's largely because of this heavy pull of nostalgia. It just feels like a simpler time. We have all these fond memories around these things and going to like midnight book releases and signings and things like that. And so, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Our generation, more so than others, as far as I can tell, we do hold on to those things. And for better or worse, we are trying to, I think, reclaim some level of, I don't know, simplicity or comfort or safety. Maybe it's safety. Safety feels like the right word to me. But I don't know. I when we see these brands make big changes and bold decisions, and it feels from the outside looking in like a horribly irresponsible practice. It's just there's a disappointment that comes with it that's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. And it's change, like we as a generation have been forced into adapting change.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's survival at this point. And maybe every generation's been like that. I feel like we've just had a lot more pressure to adapt. And so when we have an anchor like Southwest, like Nintendo, like
Nintendo,
any of these things, and they make big, bold, sweeping changes that just kind of rock that core.
Mm-hmm.
That really it's a value change.
Yeah,
I think it does. I think our quote unquote psychological safety feels threatened.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, oh God, if this is changing, it's one more thing. It's
Yeah.
one more thing that's changed. It's one more thing I feel like I can't trust. It's what is this going to look like? Is this going to fall apart? Like, are we still going to have Southwest in 10 years? Like,
right.
It just compounds the stress and the anxiety.
Yeah.
That we
carry anyway.
Mhm.
And no, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that Southwest has really made some mistakes not calling us before they rolled out some of these changes and getting our specific opinions.
Yeah. Well, they could have, and we just ignored it because we don't answer the phone for numbers we don't recognize. So that could be it.
Oh, man. How many opportunities have we missed because we just don't answer?
So many. But you know what?
I don't regret it.
I don't.
Yeah.
And if it's important, you'll leave a voicemail that I'll read.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Because I'm still not going to listen to your actual voice.
Nope.
Yeah, but I will read the transcript of the voicemail you leave because it's 2025, and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you jumping in with us, everyone, as we dissect all of the business fallacies of the second largest airline in the United States.
Right.
And yeah, we hope to regale you with even more business analysis in future episodes. So do like and subscribe. But thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll be back in your ear holes next week.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for Premeditated Opinions, where the thoughts were fully baked and only mildly regrettable.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, congrats on having truly excellent taste in podcasts and also opinions.
Send this to someone who needs to feel seen, dragged, or both. We'll be back next week with more unsolicited insight and emotionally responsible spiraling.
And until then, please stay hydrated and behave yourself in the comments.
But if you don't, share them with us.